So the context behind this law is that it started in a state called Uttar Pradesh, which is one of the most populous state in India, and it's in North India. So in 2017, a radical Hindu monk, Yogi Adityanath, he was sworn as the chief minister of the state, and he came with the plank that he is going to go after religious conversions, and he's known also for his Islamophobic positions in the past. So when he came in, just a few months into his term as the chief minister, he introduced something called anti-Romeo squads, which also was based on the same premise, where it said that Muslim men are trying to seduce Hindu girls and make them fall in love so that they can convert them. And this is something which has been part of the propaganda of the Hindu right wing for a long time in India since 2008. And there have been repeated investigations by various quarters, and the court has actually accepted that there's nothing called love jihad, which is something that the right wing keeps talking about, based on the premise that Muslim men try to make Hindu women fall in love for the purpose of jihad and then marry them, and in the process conversion is involved. But the context to this also is that in India, because it's a deeply feudal patriarchal society, any kind of self-choice marriage has been contested, whether it's intercaste, whether it's interreligious. So often when young people are found and face opposition from home, they have to run away and get married. Yeah. And if it's an interreligious situation, often people have to convert and get married, because we have a law which is the Special Marriage Act, but it involves a lot of bureaucracy, which is not possible for young people to actually follow. So this law also is something, so this is the context behind this law. And in January this year, it was first introduced as an ordinance, and then it was passed without in an emergency situation, without getting the approval of the assembly. And now the law says that so it's not like India has not had anti-conversion laws, but this is the first time a law has been introduced that says that if the conversion is for the purpose of marriage, then people will be arrested and will be imprisoned for up to 5 years.
And just how common is the conversion of Hindu women?
See, the conversion, it has to be seen in a context, because often, like I said, the socio-political background is such. There's so much of feudal patriarchy. We continue to see killings in the name of honor each time there are self-choice marriages. So people from different communities, different castes, different sects and different religions, they find it difficult to get together and find the approval of the society to get married. And which is why when there is a light threat, they often have to run and get married. So it's not just that for the purpose of marriage, people only convert to Islam. Even Muslim people convert to Hinduism, and there's something called Arya Samaj weddings. So people do that. So it is pretty common. And the main reason behind it is that because if people are literally trying to save their lives, they can't do it under the neutral law, which is the Special Marriage Act, which actually requires 30 days of processing to finally get married.
So what impact is this going to have on interfaith couples? This must make them even more concerned about a union from different religious bases.
It is a big problem, particularly for people, let's say, in two-tier cities, three-tier cities and rural areas, because the control of the feudal patriarchy is higher there. And considering that right now there is a lot of majoritarian sentiment, Hindu right-wing majoritarian sentiment in the country, it's extremely difficult for people from two different communities to get married or to be together.
So is it likely, do you think, to spread to other states?
So UP started this, but now other North Indian states like Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Gujarat have also joined the bandwagon. And let me just say it that this has been there for past some time, where Hindu right-wing groups have actually said that Muslim men dressed up in a pair of jeans and goggles and smartphone and bikes, they come all like looking dandy and saucy and coming, and there is this entire narrative behind it.
Yeah.
It's been there for.
And it's almost as if women don't have any choice in the matter. It's sort of, as you say, so paternalistic. Really fascinating. We'll watch and see what happens. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.